One of our favorite people will stop by 100% Hockey as we turn the page, getting back into the National Hockey League schedule. As Spencer Carbery, head coach of the Washington Capitals, will pop on. John Shannon did this interview yesterday, and I'm excited to listen to what you guys cover. The only thing I had on my list to ask him, John, was did he ever get the Wayne Gretzky stick signed? You don't have to answer yet.
I'm not going to tell you right now. Okay. All I know is that he has enhanced his library. Let's put it that way.
Oh, good to know. He's a pure passionate hockey guy, Spencer.
Well, and I say this with a tremendous amount of respect for every other coach or manager or hockey person we have on, but Spencer really takes time to listen to the questions, and every question has a real thought process to it for him. That's the one thing that always comes out when we talk to him. And there's never not a smile on his face. He loves the game. You can see it a mile away. He loves the game. And the Washington Capitals are better for it. The one thing that jumped out at me was that I asked him about watching the gold medal game as a fan or as a coach, and I thought his answer was fantastic. So,
I wonder if he's over ruining or delaying the Patrick Kane celebration.
I don't think so. 2 points are 2 points.
Challenge the goal, big celebration, and then to take it back.
Well, the good news is that night they did challenge. Kane still got his goal or point. And the Caps won the game, so it was it ended up being a win-win for everybody. So,
Team USA going to the White House, that's always cool with the gold medals and the Team USA sweaters on. That was a picture. Politics aside, I'm going to push the politics to the right, but that visual of the players on the White House lawn and then the State of the Union, those aren't hockey fans that are watching the State of the Union, and to see the hockey players all walk in with their gold medals, that's got to do something on the backs of some pretty impressive ratings given the time zone in Italy. By the way,
I saw what you did there when you said I'm going to push it to the right. That was very good. The shot in front of the White House was cool. There's no doubt about it. When a sporting event, a hockey event transcends the sport, there's always hope that it will help. This one, unfortunately, is not without controversy at some point, somehow, whether it be for players playing games, being available to play games, whether it be for those political issues, whether it be how they managed the reaction to the women declining the invitation or being invited as well. It's you certainly hope, and I'm trying not to be political as well, but you certainly hope that there will be more positives for the game and for the National Hockey League than there are negatives, because there will be negatives, Darren. There's no question about it. The biggest thing, and you touched on it a bit, almost 30 million people in North America watched hockey.
Were you okay with that number?
In the United States, I was. I was disappointed in the number in Canada, which was 8.7 million. I thought that was. I had predicted it would be double digits. I thought it would be over 10. But when you're starting at 5 o'clock on the Pacific time zone, that's difficult to get people out of bed one way or the other. If there's just as an aside, when I was a kid and we had the famous Canada-Soviet Union series in 1972, they played the games live, and then they replayed them again in prime time. And the ratings for the primetime game 12 hours later were almost as big as the ones in the morning. So that told you, people, once they get into their rhythm and routine of a day, they don't change as much as they normally do, but they still want to watch. I thought the number would be 10 or 11 million people in Canada. I really did. But it is what it is, and it's a great number when you consider it was more than the Stanley Cup final. So that's a positive. But now you hope that those, let's say for example that the 21 million that watch the United States, let's hope that 30% of those people who aren't normally watching hockey will watch an NHL game now. Will watch a Stanley Cup playoff game now. That's the growth of the game. We hope that there'll be 7-year-olds all over the United States imploring their parents to enroll them in hockey and get into programs. This is where, in my opinion, this is where the member clubs of the National Hockey League have an opportunity now in the United States to unveil new programs. And lots of them have great programs. You're in your city, the minor hockey program that the Golden Knights have created is very good. But introductory hockey programs now need to go, in my opinion, in the United States to the next level. And let's hope that the NHL and the member clubs have an action plan.
Yeah, almost do a surge right now, a spring session right now. Jump on it. All
absolutely, and whether that be, finding sponsorship to have floor hockey tournaments, road hockey tournaments, getting inexpensive or free equipment in people's hands for their children to learn how to skate. It speaks to everything that we always talk about. Well, the Olympics are going to grow the game. Let's hope the Olympics grow the game. Well, the Olympics have done their part. What happened in Milan is done. Now it's up to the teams. It's up to USA Hockey. It's up to the NHL to execute plans. And this is not a time in the United States to sit back and say, well, let's see what happens. No, this is a time to execute a plan.
I'd love to hear PSAs from the gold medalists, the men and the women's teams. Like, we won gold. Come and try hockey. Something to that effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, but come and try hockey. But then, there's lots of people that, well, what's the next step? How do I do it? Where do I hear that this sport's expensive. It can't right now. If you're going to try to get people involved and engaged, hockey can't be expensive again for a while. It can't be. So in the great country of the United States, where corporate partnership is so important, find a way with corporate partners to say, we are in this with our clubs, and we're going to put 100 pair of skates available for people to try the game. There's 100 pair of skates and 100 helmets. And come out on a Saturday morning and skate. I'm not even worried about
find those 10-year-olds that had their eye on baseball or love football. You got to get them over.
Well, and to be honest, what we have seen basketball in the last, and the thing is that of those sports, and put soccer in there too, Darren. Of those sports, hockey's the most expensive to play. That's a reality. But what we need to do is we need to give those kids a chance to go on the ice somehow, some way. You engage the children, you'll engage the parents.
Stop bringing up the expense.
Oh no, but listen. We screwed it up as a sport. We screwed it up. It's a fact. It's a fact. We made it.
Well, how do you get around that?
Corporate partnership.
I hear a lot about the expense, but there is a reality to it.
Really, and every hockey stick has to be $200.
No, you're right about that.
Every pair of skates has to be. I used to laugh at people in figure skating. I worked a lot of Olympics. I used to be around families in figure skating. They would tell you that the outfits were $1,000 and the skates are $1,200. I used to laugh at them.
But that's a decision on the consumer too. There are more affordable options for kids. Like there
I'm
are.
just telling you. I'm telling you, we have to break the perception, and we have to make it more affordable for everyone. You know, hockey is for everyone. If we really believe hockey is for everyone, we have to make it more affordable.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but now this has been put on a tee for us, Darren. It's like it's the first hole at the Masters. You know, we're standing there with our driver. We got the golf ball on the tee. Now let's
tougher hole than people expect. You got to get over that gully, and then the green's very difficult.
So you're making excuses already.
I'm just saying don't make excuses. There's challenges.
Action plans. We need action plans. If I'm an owner, if I'm an owner, and I'm a president of any NHL team in the United States right now, I would have my staff in saying, "What are we doing about this? How are we taking advantage?"
Did you not eat this morning? Is that why you're grumpy?
I'm not grumpy. I'm aggressive. I want
some carbs in you.
I want to take advantage of this now.
Okay, I'm going to give you some carbs.
By the way, Sid's on IR.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to deal with the National Hockey League and the return to play after you talk to our buddy Spencer Carbery.
Okay.
I want to get to this conversation. It's I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys talked about, big picture, and some of the stuff that we discussed with him way back when during the Great Chase. Here's Spencer Carbery coming up on 100% Hockey with John Shannon next.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Welcome back to 100% Hockey on YouTube and all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, and, of course, Apple Podcasts. Pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the Washington Capitals, Spencer Carbery. Welcome, Spence. I guess I better ask you the simple questions first. Did you watch Sunday?
That would be a yes.
And your takeaway?
Oh, I thought it was a great hockey game. I really did. I thought it had a little bit of everything. I thought how tight the game was. U.S. being up a goal, Canada sort of carrying play for so long. They get the game tying goal, and then they're pushing some late. The goalie saves, huge saves, breakaways, some late power plays that come into play. So anybody that was the casual fan of hockey watched that, and I got a ton of text messages that were just like, wow, what a hockey game, whether you were from Canada or from the United States. So it just, I thought it was just great for the game of hockey.
Can you watch a game without being a coach?
No, I was pulling some stuff. I actually, funny you say that. I got our video coaches to grab the game, and just because there was a few things that I saw through the game that I'm like, see if we can grab those clips and maybe show them at some point, just because of the way that they were regrouping in the neutral zone. I just thought there were some really good examples of some things that we wanted to do. So no, I can't.
Now, so did you have a Cooper list and a Sullivan list, or what? How did you do it?
A little bit. I was trying to see, because I'm fascinated when you bring that many great coaches together on a staff, whether it's the U.S. or Canada, they all have little intricacies to their system that they use with their NHL club. So I'm always curious to see, what did Butch Cassidy bring from Vegas, and Coop? He got convinced Coop to, hey, let's use this. Or what did Pete DeBoer bring from Dallas that I remember when he was there? And so there are some differences. There's some differences that the way that Coop plays, or some systems that he does in Tampa Bay that Team Canada didn't use. So it was interesting. And then you see the chess match with some of the face-offs, and U.S. did a great job through the tournament, scored, I think, three goals off of faceoffs. Canada kind of got one in the final. That arguably was a faceoff goal, the Makar goal. So yeah, there was a lot of X's and O's that you're trying to draw to whether Sully uses with the Rangers or it's something that Coop uses in Tampa.
And anybody that can argue all faceoffs aren't important, holy smokes, faceoffs are important, aren't they? I mean, my goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. And then the American penalty kill, perfection for 10 days.
Unbelievable. And you know what else was interesting? So two things I took from that. Coop, he started to, in that second period, he started to put Horvat on that left dot to win some of those draws. Makar scores when he puts Horvat out there. So a key kind of coaching scenario thing. Also, the 5-on-3 kill, very rare. Not a lot of teams use it. Sully used 2 forwards, 1D, which is rare. Wow. 5-on-3.
Was that enough confidence in Trocheck and Miller?
And maybe strategically, I mean, he liked those guys all tournament to kill, but very rarely do you see. Normally, you put 2D out there. You know, your 2 best shot blockers, your 2 best penalty kill D-men, and 1 forward. But he obviously had a strategy that liked exactly what you said, both those guys and 1 D-man, which and they got the job done.
All right. Enough of the Olympics. It's over. back to your regular job. Riddle me this. So you haven't played a game for almost 3 weeks. When was the last time you looked at the standings?
Oh, yesterday. Yesterday I did.
So you're 4 points out of the wild card and 4 points out of the division. Where's your mindset?
So we've had some discussions early when we first came back about what needs to be done and where we're at. We've got some ground to make up, no doubt. We've played the most games in the NHL, so every team in the league, especially in the Eastern race, has games in hand. We're going to handle our business, but we do have to. We figure with the way the East is this year, we're going to need something around 16-7. 16-7 in the last 23 games will give us, that's 32 points.
That'll get you to 97.
Yeah, it's going to be right around there, I think. And there's about, the way I figure it, maybe 7 teams in that mix. And so we know, because I think it's important when you go into this stretch. You don't talk about it every day, but you need to lay the landscape for what we're up against. What do we need to achieve? What's the objective here? And then we go to work and we focus on Philadelphia tomorrow night. But that we're going to need to get hot here, and we're going to have to play well down the stretch, and it'll start tomorrow night.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about this in your case. So you've been the head coach there now for a while, but you have had 2 of the strangest, most unpredictable years as a coach when you think of all of last season with the Ovechkin watch.
Yeah.
And then this Olympic break. How have you managed all of these different curveballs?
Yeah, it's certainly been challenging. Even this year, just because of all the highs of last year, and I'm not just talking about breaking the record and how euphoric that was, and all the things that went into it, and how much positive energy it drummed up for our entire group, not just and then this year, because so many things went right last year, of trying to really try to replicate that, but also push to another level. And then also integrate some younger players. It's been challenging in the Olympic break and our schedule with, us losing Pierre-Luc Dubois early in the season, 5 games in, and now Justin Sordoff has to be thrown in the mix, and Ryan Leonard has to play more minutes, and Hendrik Slapierre and Ethan Frank, these young players. And then we're playing 59 games, the most games in the league through January. So it's been challenging, no doubt, but we're hanging in there. We're right there. Feel like with getting Doobie back into our lineup, that'll give us a shot of energy, and hopefully he'll help. I mean, he's one of our top players, plays such important minutes for us. So hopefully we can carry that momentum into the post-Olympic break.
With a season that you've rarely had practices, what was the last 7 days like?
Oh man, how we had by far more practices than we'd had in 3 months in the last week, which is so unique, and that's another factor. I find our group needs to practice. We need to get reps, especially with the young guys this year. You need to go through it. You need to feel the puck. You need to run the routes, and the lack of practice time has been extremely challenging.
So, I mean, I know you're not going to give me secrets. So, what would you have worked on the last 7 days?
So we did. We kind of attacked it in three ways. We started the first couple days with here's how it has to look in this last 23 games of the regular season to get us in. Here's the things. Here's the core parts of our identity. Practiced it for a couple days, and then the next two portions we basically focused on all unique situations. So power play, penalty kill, a little bit of 6-on-5, some overtime stuff. And then worked on some of our not like training camp, but very similar, just a dumbed down of all of our systems and running through some drills that reinforce that stuff.
How many guys came back with tans or sunburns?
I'm going to say 75%.
But you know what? The rest may not be a bad thing for the stretch run. Correct?
Yeah. Absolutely. Even the first 2 days that we had our practices, so we had an optional that we were allowed to come back at 2:00 Tuesday, February 17th.
Right.
We had an optional. We had 21 of our 24 guys were in that optional. Okay.
Wow.
The following day, the guys had a week off and they're away and they're traveling and they're getting away from the game. They're in all sorts of areas of the world and they're fired up. So I loved our juice coming back. Guys are excited. They had the time to reset mentally, to get away from the game and kind of get that back, that reinvigorated. All right, let's go. We've got a stretch run. Here it is. Here's our playoff push. And the energy's been great the last week.
With everything that's gone on and the fact that you are out of the playoffs, where do you think the biggest improvement for your team has to be?
There's a couple things. I would say special teams is one of them. We've got to find a way to just try to keep that even if we're not winning that battle every night, of just trying to keep it even. Power play, penalty kill, that's a big part of it. I think just our overall defensive game has just been okay. I think we're fine offensively. Our numbers, the film, the analytics are good there. It's just we just got to do a little bit of better job of defending in certain areas. So that was a lot of different things. We dove into that over the break, and so if we can get a little bit tighter there, I think we'll be in good shape.
At 16-7, which is your number, not mine. At 16-7 for the remaining 23. Your road record has to be a heck of a lot better. Yeah. That's no where that if you look at where your numbers are, I mean, you're 7 games above at home, and you're 1 under. And that. So how do you fix a road record?
Yeah, I think it's just consistency and being able to do that on the road and replicate the things that you're doing at home, and you're playing at a high level up to and then you go on the road. You got to be able to do that in a difficult environment when I can't sometimes control the matchups, and that's an important thing that I'm not going to be able to get maybe you out in the situation or the advantageous spot that I could at home, and so that's what it is playing in difficult environments and being able to handle that adversity and the things that are going to come with playing on the road and losing momentum, which is inevitably going to happen, and not being able to have last change and being able to handle those scenarios. And it's not like, we don't need to go 11-0 on the road. We just need to play better at road. We need to, chip away at that away record and be able to win a few games here on the road in some difficult environments.
We're with Spencer Carbery, the head coach of the Washington Capitals on 100% Hockey. More with Spencer after this.
Car shopping should be exciting, not exhausting. That's where Car Gurus comes in. They have advanced search tools, unbiased deal ratings, and price history, so you know a great deal when you see one. It's no wonder that Car Gurus is the #1 rated car shopping app in Canada. When you're car shopping on your phone, it shouldn't be a maze. You need to see all the information. With the Car Gurus app, you can. Powerful search tools that you see deal ratings, price history, and dealer reviews on listings all in one place. And you can turn on real-time price drop alerts so you never miss a great deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent, hassle-free buying process. Buy your next car today at cargurus.ca. Make sure your deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.ca. cargurus.ca.
Welcome back, 100% Hockey. Spencer Carbery of the Washington Capitals. So, Spencer, you said that you you looked at the standings for the first time in a while yesterday. How do you manage watching other teams now? I mean, lots of coaches just say, I can only worry about my team. But the reality is we're all hockey fans. We all follow all the scores. How do you manage that?
I think it's interesting this year because of the East and how strong it is that there's not a lot of like scoreboard watching because there's like 8 teams that you all are in. So they're all playing each other. And so there's so many different scenarios. I really think, I'm not just saying this as lip service, like this is truly like we have to look after our business. And especially with us being a little bit behind the 8 ball here, we got to win games. So whether, we're looking up at Boston and Buffalo and the New York Islanders, for sure, their scores impact us. I'd be crazy to say I'm not watching that game or looking at what they're doing, but it's irrelevant if we don't get going here on a run.
How many in your own division do you have?
Oh, I want to say we have 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'd almost want more.
Yeah. So, yes.
So that to me is an interesting one. Because those 4-point games are the keys to leapfrogging people. So that to me is a part of this game and the part of this compacted schedule that's going to manage it. Curious.
And we have one. So we've done all our road trips
west, right?
Out west is done. The one we do have is a interesting one. We haven't done one like this. St. Louis, Vegas, and Utah. So a 3-game trip in the middle of March that we have.
Wow. And 2 of those teams are fighting themselves. So that's going to be those are the fascinating the games between 2 teams in each conference going to overtime is not as bad as it would be if you did play an Eastern Conference team.
Yeah,
and you can try to you can try to scavenge 2 points is not really a bad thing. So how will you manage your goaltending, do you think, between now and the end of the season? Both Charlie and Logan have, I think, done what you've wanted them to do. Where do you see that happening?
I think Logan has been really solid this year. I mean, his start was as good as anybody in the National Hockey League. Through his first 20 games, he was phenomenal. And Chucky's been real solid as well in sort of a secondary role. And anytime we've needed a big start, Chucky has provided a few of those throughout the way. So we're really confident with our goaltending. I mean, LT has had a phenomenal year and he'll continue to get a lot of opportunity. And we know Chucky's right there and going to get some starts as well.
Wait, was it the game in Detroit that Lindgren played and the shootout? What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, what a wild. We played so well, and we this was kind of we've actually gotten on a little bit of momentum since that game. We had a real good meeting in the morning, or before the game, and just felt like we played such a good game. We gave up a couple late goals, 6-on-5 to send that game to overtime, and then it gets to the shootout, and at the end of overtime, Chucky, it looked like, pulled something or did something, was struggling to get up, and he was waving off, saying, I'm fine, I'm going to be able to do the shootout. And he could barely move in the shootout, but credit to our guys. Like, we scored some huge goals in that shootout. To think we ended up scoring every time. We end up winning that shootout 3-2, scoring all three of our opportunities, and that was a big win. That has kind of got us back in the mix here, of winning 4 of our last 5.
I do have to ask you, though, Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
Your video coach said, hey, I think it's offside.
Yeah. So you want to hear a funny story? Yeah. So that play, so it was a power play.
Yeah.
Goes in, and anytime an entry happens, we've got one of our assistant coach, Scotty Allen, has an earpiece in. So they'll know 5 or 6 seconds after the entry whether it was onside or offside. So they'll message in and go, that's offside.
Yeah.
So Scotty will go, this is offside. So he'll go, no penalties. So he'll be yelling no penalties, because if you take a penalty,
it still counts.
Still counts. If they score, it gets taken off the board. So we're yelling no penalties, and Moritz Seider looked, and their bench was yelling, bring it out, because they knew it was offside as well. So they're yelling, bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. They end up scoring. So the place goes nuts. So they're hugging, and you can see it on the broadcast. Seider goes, like, in the huddle, they're all hugging, and that he goes, it's offside. And Kane looks at him, and like, you could just tell it was like deflated, like, oh, geez, really? So they go down the line, and we challenge, and it was offside by a good couple of feet.
You were the bad guy for about 10 minutes, I think.
I know. Wes McCauley mentioned something to me. He's like, really? You got to challenge that?
Hey, points are important, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, we're in a dogfight.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So just how did you manage the break yourself? What did you do, and how much time did you were able to not think about the game?
Yeah, I thought it was important. I took came back the day after we played Nashville and got some work done, and then family and I went down to Florida for a few days, spent some great time with the kids, did 1 day of theme parks. That's all I could handle of the chaos of that. And then we're able to relax a little bit, get some sunshine, and then come back here and spend a few more days of just getting kids back into school and youth hockey. Went up to New Jersey and watched my son play youth hockey. So it was good.
So which is worse, the chaos of running an NHL practice, or the chaos at the kids at the park?
Oh, I would way prefer the chaos of running a practice. Let me tell you. The crowds, I don't do well with everyone running around. Lines.
There's 17,000 people every night around you. You don't do well with crowds. What is that?
But it's controlled. I don't have to get into lines and be running for ice creams and...
the last time we had you on, you were telling us the story of you have the Gretzky stick in the corner of your office. You were going to try to get it signed. Did you get it signed?
So I have the signed Gretzky, and now I'll try to do the best I can with this.
But you got it. Did you get Alex? Yeah, Alex. Oh, you got it. Is that an Alex stick there now too?
Yeah, right next to him. I got it right next to him now.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
So I put them both next to each other now because passed them. So I just leave those two sitting right over there.
That's cool. How is Mr. Ovechkin?
He's doing great. The break for him is huge. Just at 40 years old, being able to not just the mental, but being physically able to just sort of have a little bit of a reset and and now get charged up and ready to go. He is full of energy out there. He's one of the guys leading the charge in practice this week. So the break does him really, really well.
And no hangover from beating Wayne's record, I guess.
No, he's still back at it. Still back at it. It's unbelievable.
Spencer, thanks for this and good luck down the stretch.
Absolutely, anytime.
Spencer Carbery. I'll be back with Darren after this on 100% Hockey.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Carbs. It's one of my favorite.
He did, by the way, he never asked for it. He said, "Where's Darren?" He never said, "Where's Darren?" Never did.
It's okay. We were talking earlier in the day. He knew I wasn't coming on. He knew I wasn't coming on. I was actually on, waiting to be brought in.
Yeah.
I was in the waiting room. It's like the host has been notified you're in the waiting room. And Hugh McClarty, the producer, ghosted me. Absolutely Heisman me.
He did what?
Gave me the Heisman.
Oh, Heisman. I thought you said something else. So Heisman. Okay.
Give me the Heisman. Like, you guys went, oh, we got him. Let's keep them all to ourselves. How's that?
Exactly right. That is exactly right.
I was actually downstairs talking to Bruce Cassidy while you guys were recording that. Bruce Cassidy's back. John Cooper will not coach the Tampa Bay Lightning in their first game back. He's dealing with a personal situation. We wish him all the best, sending our thoughts to him. So there's some moving parts as teams get back involved. And for Sidney Crosby, it sounds like it's going to be a month without the Penguins captain.
Well, let's face it. I think that whether it's an MCL or whatever it is, it's not good, and it's going to put a really tough slant on, well, the Penguins staying ahead of the Capitals, right? Let's face it, they're 5 points ahead, and they're second in the division right now. But that's a challenge.
The Penguins did make a trade acquiring Samuel Girard for Brett Kulak yesterday. There was 2 trades. One was more of a minor league swap. I was surprised there wasn't more action coming out of the Olympic break, given all the time the managers had a chance to talk.
Yeah, and well, one of the trades, Kyle Dubas was over there. So, the phones worked, so I guess you could have discussions.
Were you not surprised that there wasn't more action?
I still think there will be this weekend. I think there will be. I think there'll be as the week goes on. I think people will get a good sense of where they are. I mean, it's difficult when you look at all the guys, for instance, that are not going to be in the lineup for Winnipeg in Vancouver later tonight. With no Morrissey and no Niederreiter. It's going to be difficult for people to judge what their teams are when they're on the bubble, right? When we're on the cusp.
Well, Winnipeg's not in the bubble.
Winnipeg still thinks that, you think they're going to be sellers?
Yes.
No,
I don't think they're making the playoffs. Let me put it a different way.
Yeah. Actually,
whether they sell or not is up to them, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. Calgary's not making the playoffs. Vancouver's not making the playoffs. Chicago's not making the playoffs. St. Louis, I don't think is making the playoffs. So they're like Vancouver's got forwards. Calgary's got a mix of defensemen and forwards. Chicago's got D. St. Louis has got D. What do you think's the most coveted piece on the market as we are a week and a half away from the trade deadline? It's hard to believe it's next Friday.
Yeah. Well, I think if you can find it's always second line centers and defensemen, right? So, I think you have to put Nazem Kadri at the top of the list from Calgary as far as what teams want and need at this time of year. Is Kadri willing to? Is he available to? to make a trade. Nas has already said that he and management have had discussions about the future.
He has term left.
Yeah, and just over 7, I think. And so there is, that's a factor. Nas likes playing in Calgary. He's enjoyed it. I think if the Flames kept him, he could be a centerpiece for this team rebuilding. So that's the quandary that Don Maloney and Craig Conroy have in saying, what are we going to do with Kadri? Can we get enough for him? How good do they need to be next year and the year after?
I wonder what Calgary does with Zach Whitecloud, if they do anything. The player they picked up in exchange for Rasmus Anderson, affordable contract and can play up and down your back six.
Yeah, but and I agree with you. But at a certain point, don't you say, well, we have to have quality people for the future?
And he'd be a great guy to have young players playing with.
Right. So there's a lot of people that are suggesting move players, but I look and say, well, if the management team expects to be around for a while, don't they expect some quality players to be around for a while? The one thing that is the wild card in all this is that everybody talks about this is a very deep draft, a very good draft. And so if you can find a way to squeeze out a top 20 first round pick out of someone, is it worth doing that and taking the short term pain? The Olympic break created a real illusion for people because prior to the Olympic break, everybody still thought they were in it because, well, there's still so much time left, not necessarily games. But now when you come back from the break and you look at it and you're saying, well, there's only 25 games left or 27 games left, depending on which team you are. And now you've got to face reality. And reality exists between now and next Friday for a lot of clubs. I would have thought, yes, that there would be more trades this week. But at the same time, I think people are still taking stock of what happens in the next 3 or 4 games before they make that final decision.
There's high-profile names all over the board in Vancouver that are said to be available, including Connor Garland's name surfacing yesterday. Elias Pettersson, Nazem Kadri. How deep do you think that the teardown goes there?
In Vancouver?
Yes.
Well, I think it has to go deep.
Pettersson deep?
I don't know whether they're willing to move him. I would move him. I think that if you're talking down to the studs, and if you can find, he's got a very, very big contract, $11.5 million, Darren. How do you manage your way out of that if you want to move him? What kind of assets do you think you could get back for him? That becomes the question. And the other part of it is, and a lot of us talked about it before the Olympics, did he show his talent as an elite player in Italy? Did he? He showed flashes.
Yeah, he had a couple of good games.
So, and you know as well as I do, when managers sit and watch, saying, "Whoa, that's the Pettersson I want."
Yeah. Well, that might make it more attractive to acquire him.
Yes, that's my point. So you do wonder about how deep it can go. At the same time, when you look at, well, why can't Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin think that same way too? That becomes the challenge. Is why can't? Well, there's the Pettersson we know we have, and
I think they've seen enough.
They have made a conscious decision in the last 3 or 4 years. Go through the timeline: Horvat, Miller, Hughes, Pettersson's the last man standing. Can you ill afford to get rid of one of your 4 biggest names in the last 5 years? I'm sure it's a discussion they're having with ownership.
Players getting back acclimated and reinserted into their lineup. Do you think the National Hockey League handled it appropriately, giving everybody an opportunity to allow them to fill that roster spot for players that were involved in the bronze medal or gold medal games?
Oh, I think you had to.
I was just surprised it happened so
quietly,
but also it didn't sound like it was happening for sure until after the medal round.
Yes, but I think it had to happen. It just, when you look at, guys, where you are in Vegas, how many guys aren't going to play until Friday? 5? Is it 5?
There's 5 in the gold medal game. As of right now, we don't know the status of the Canadian players. They were all at the facility yesterday, but don't know whether they're going to play in LA tonight. But the Team USA players, Hanifin and Eichel, won't play.
No. So this is going to be part of the post Olympics debrief to decide whether it was worth it. And I think that's both on the player side and on the NHL side. What was it worth it? When it starts to, because you start to hear people, even with the guys going to the White House, guys going to DC. Well, are they going to be there for the games? Are they going to play the games? We got our games. They're getting paid for games. So
depends where you are in the standings too, right? Like Austin Matthews, he's playing that first game back. They're desperate for points.
Yeah, but but in the end though, it doesn't affect just your team. It affects the team you're playing too, Darren. Like, you can't tell me that, the Los Angeles Kings aren't thrilled that Jack Eichel's not playing tonight. Well, that affects the Edmonton Oilers. That affects the San Jose Sharks. So it's not just the effect on your team. It's on the ripple effect of how does it affect the playoff races. And those are and quite frankly, that's the thought process that the league always goes through. Not the teams, the league. So when all those players that did play in the gold medal game are going to be given a bit of a reprieve, there are going to be teams saying, well, hold on. That's going to affect, who wins and loses the next game. And I'm playing that team. Or my opposition, the guy I'm running with, is playing against him. And that's that. I can tell you after the time I spent with the league, that was always discussions. Okay, yes, here, this is how it affects this team, but how does it affect the opposition? And those are conversations that, trust me, I remember being in the situation room one night, and late in the season, and there was a goal review or some sort of review between two teams, and the phone rang, and it was a manager of a third team screaming his head off, saying, "What are you doing? That's not right. I'm getting screwed on 2 points here. This guy, the next guy's ahead of me now." So that's what happens.
And from players not being in the lineup too, it's kind of flying under the radar. But Artemi Panarin's making his debut for LA, acquired just before the Olympic break.
And I would argue that the Los Angeles Kings have probably been affected long-term more than any other team with the Olympic break, with the loss of Kevin Fiala. Mm-hmm. And I guess Pittsburgh now with, and let's look, what about Dallas?
Rantanen, there's more than jumps out at you.
Exactly. And people have tried to kind of cover a bit of that up and say, well, because you still know, and I know, that if you polled the 750 players in the National Hockey League, do you want to go to the Olympics in France? The answer is going to be overwhelmingly yes. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think the league actually came out of the Olympics pretty good. Like, you had the serious injury to Fiala, season ending. You've got a pretty dramatic ailment to Sidney Crosby, missing a month, high profile there. But all things considered, given the amount of players that were over there, it came just under what I would think would be the baseline. Don't you think?
I think it's too early to judge, to be honest. I really do. I think it's too early to be judged. I mean, I do wonder how effective. And you know, and
that's the other part, right? Yeah,
I'm Canadian, but I'm watching the American players celebrate, and I think it's great. Let them celebrate. Let them enjoy. Yes. But how effective will some of those guys be for the next week? Seriously.
No, it's going to take a week to get back into the rhythm because teams are going to play with backfill lineups to start. Then they're going to reinsert the players that were in the medal round games. So that'll be a step. And then you're going to take a couple of games to get up to speed. Like, coaches and teammates may not have a full grasp of where they are for another 7 days. Which by the way, takes you right to the trade deadline.
Which takes you to the trade deadline. Yeah. So I think that's another reason perhaps why we haven't seen any deals.
Could be. And you hope. And lower teams on the bubble that maybe aren't as skilled, they might have an advantage coming out of the break because they're more simple, like straight ahead, go. Teams that rely on skill and high-end talent might take a little bit longer to get up to speed on things.
Then when you look at your schedule and say, oh, listen, our schedule looks relatively easy. Maybe even though we're back 9 points back, 7 points back, maybe we go on a heater here, win 5 of 6. We do what Buffalo's done.
Yeah, I think 5 points is the max.
Okay.
With 25 to go.
You're probably right.
That's where I'm hard to make up more than that.
You're probably right.
We'll see. Follow teams like Edmonton stumbling going into the break. Teams like Buffalo trying to get back to the playoffs. A lot of stuff to keep an eye on. Great stuff with Spencer, my buddy Carbs.
Spencer, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you call him Spence?
I did.
Yeah. Was that tough for you?
Spence. Well, Spence is still his name, you know.
That's a bit of a borderline nickname. You're coming around, buddy. I love it.
I am not coming around.
I
am not coming around. No, listen. Between that and analytics, I'm not coming around.
We'll talk to you next time with Millard and Shannon on 100% Hockey. Hope you enjoyed the YouTube platform and share it, like it, give us some comments. Amazing number of comments over on YouTube. Love to get that kind of interaction on the podcast platforms. We'll talk to you either online or right here on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.